Welcome to yet another edition of Newsnight with Andrew Mwenda, the old man of the clan, and also CEO of the Independent magazine. Tonight we discuss a pay rise proposal by lawmakers, or if it's actually not a proposal, going by the Daily Monitor, it probably is coming into effect immediately. A 40% pay rise. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Our parliament never ceases to amaze us. Let me just explain this. So we hear that there is...
You are amazed?
There is the proposal for a pay rise of 40% went through a rigorous process. When we consult, I think the committee responsible for proposing these, increases, they said they are not aware. Not a single proposal like this came to them in the office. But you have the clerk to parliament saying this exercise went through a rigorous process, and this is to motivate MPs.
To motivate them to do what?
To do their work.
Which work do they do? Because I
legislate.
First of all, you know, on this show, I have been very hostile to these members of parliament.
And they are not happy with you.
So we pay them more to refuse NSSF to invest.
Give us the figures.
First of all, I should tell you,
yes.
on average,
yes.
a member of parliament in Uganda earns 30 million shillings. That is $10,000. Uganda's per capita income in nominal terms is $700. You get it? So there is a huge gap already between the ordinary voter who earns $700 and the MP who earns 10,000.
Let me play devil's advocate.
No, before you play devil's advocate, let me give you comparative figures.
Yes.
Comparative figures, in France, a member of parliament earns $76,000 a year.
Yes.
The per capita income of France is about $50,000. So there is a close relationship between a member of parliament and the constituents they represent. Here there is a huge gap. In other words, these members of parliament must be detached from the interests of the...
Let me explain the increments.
Let me
go to those figures.
Just a second.
Yes.
I also want to go to the second thing. The other second thing is, if you look at there's so many people here who do so much work, teachers, nurses, police officers, soldiers who defend this country. You
Doctors.
get it? None of them is getting a 40% pay rise. And you're a member of parliament. You're increasing your pay rise? If these parliamentarians were smart, because me, I think that they need more money. This electorate of Uganda is always demanding so much from them. It is not possible in the short term for government to fix public goods and services.
Yes.
So they pay funeral expenses of their constituents, they pay medical bills of their constituents. I think that the government of Uganda needs to set a special fund away from MP salaries.
A semblance of a community fund.
Yeah, community fund. So from which they can draw to meet this. Yes.
Yes. But this is for something else, the Community Development Fund. You're looking for a different fund, for them to be able to say, listen, this is a pool of 20 million. In a month, my constituency office will manage burials, will manage school fees, will manage fundraising. Because that's where the biggest problem is. That the amount of money they pick from loan sharks to help.
Because you see, I do not want to be also blamed to the reality that MPs face a lot of financial demands from their constituents.
Exactly.
You know, Joachim Buembo one time wrote an article, I think in the East African. Do you read Joachim Buembo's articles? I can never miss it because it's very interesting. Around that was still a CDF.
Yes.
He wrote, does the CDF get a CDF? Remember, was also does the CDF get a CDF?
Yes.
And if he gets a CDF, where does he spend it? Because unlike these other MPs who have a large constituency, does the CDF also move around all barracks?
Good question.
And when he moves around the barracks, is it on his CDF or is it on the army budget because he used army vehicle? But anyway, listen, viewers, please go look for Morepo's article on whether the CDF gets a CDF.
Andrew, let's look at this. Mileage allowances. They actually, the pay rise is...
They want to increase per kilometer from 2,500 to 6,500.
Yes.
First of all, fuel prices are coming down. For them, their allowances are going up. Why? A liter of diesel has fallen to about 2,800. I assume that they buy diesel vehicles because you did.
Yes.
If they want to drive affordable vehicles.
Yes.
So how come at a point when fuel prices are coming down, the MPs are saying that their fuel allowances should go up?
Well, they had to reach areas where the MPs come from, say Karamoja, would be excited about this because they probably spend a little more than the regular MPs.
No, they are given.
They earn a little more.
They are given. By the way, I should tell you,
MPs, right?
I don't know any car that consumes 1 liter per kilometer. I drive a car that consumes a lot of fuel. It consumes 1 liter for every 9 kilometers. It's a petrol engine.
So you don't know any that consumes 1 liter?
1 to 1? I don't know. So they are saying that they should be given 1 liter.
Yes, you know that this whole mileage thing considers depreciation and considers wear and tear. But Andrew, to play devil's advocate, they still are some of the least paid in the region. So they might be making a case
Well,
compared
I
to their
know
neighbors
that
in
members
Kenya.
of parliament in Kenya are paid something like $25,000 a month. And listen to this: a member of parliament in Nigeria is paid $120,000 per month, 1.2 million.
You've just given our MPs reason to demand for more.
But Kenya has a larger GDP, Nigeria has a larger GDP, but also it shows you that democracy in Nigeria and Kenya is dysfunctional, because the most financial benefits go to elites rather than to ordinary citizens. You know, I used to moralize a lot. I should tell you, Maurice, the more functional thing we should discuss is not MPs' pay.
Yes.
These MPs are not smart. The MPs must, beyond the CDF. In America, a member of Congress earns about $156,000 per year, right? But the office of a member of Congress gets $2 million a year to run activities of the constituency. Did you know? So although she or he earns $156,000 for a whole year, which is roughly about $112,000 a month, the office gets $2 million. These MPs should argue that the offices must be supported, because I think that the way we remunerate our parliamentarians and run parliamentary affairs must be cognizant of our reality. You see our president moving around with envelopes. I used to be very critical of him with his envelopes, but me, I go to my village. I'm not a member of parliament. I'm not an elected official. People come to me. We have this child who is sick. We have this one who cannot go to school. This one lost a mother. This one lost a daughter. This one lost this, and they expect me to give them something. Why? Because I'm an elite driving a good car wearing a nice suit from Kampala. So how can you have a legislative process, a legal system that assumes that the voter in Uganda behaves like the voter in the UK? There is not a single voter in the UK who goes asking for money for to meet funeral expenses or private health care to the MP. In Uganda, the situation is different. In poor countries, Kenya, Nigeria, it is not true that these members of parliament are very rich. Most of them, as we have been discussing, are heavily indebted. How do we have laws and budgets that respond to our actual political realities rather than respond to a theoretical ideal that we borrowed from Belgium?
All right, and we really
that's the
have
challenge.
ended there. But I really wanted to end on this note, that the Nigerian and Kenyan MPs are actually not highly indebted as our Ugandan MPs. Most of the MPs in Kenya are actually well off, but that's a discussion for another day.
Perhaps we should find out where they make their money from. Is it from those salaries or side businesses?
And that wraps up TV News Night.